Mike Wilson here, the host of Stutter with Confidence, and I'm very happy today to be joined by and Lois. I should have asked, did you go by Lois Cookie Green or Lois Green?
I go by Cookie, but 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 I am Lois Green actually.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yes,
Most people call you Cookie. Gotcha.
most people
Um,
they sure do. Yeah.
Good stuff. And for those that don't know you from your super successful Facebook group and WhatsApp groups that you run, if you would tell people where you live and what you do, or what you did, I guess, before you retired, because you told me you retired now.
Yeah, because I am retired. Woo, woo, woo. But I am Lois Cookie Green from Fremont, California. And I have been stuttering actually since I was about 7. And I won't say how old I am. I will, you can guess that. But I have been stuttering all of my life. And I used to actually stay what I call behind the scenes. I wouldn't take on a job or a car, career because of the fear of stuttering and the fear of humiliation that I was probably most of it bringing up on myself. But until I was about 40, where a manager came and said, I would love for you to lead a team and a quality control team. And I thought, how can I do this? They speak with a PA system. So all I could think about was my voice stuttering all over the manufacturing floor. And I thought, there's no way I can't do this. And then I decided, well, feel the fear and do this. Step out of that comfort zone. You are going to get ripped, but you're going to do it anyway. And once I did that, oh my God, I started getting um, promoted and over. And pretty soon I got to see that I can stutter and still be confident because I had to do things just like doing presentations in front of the senior staff of Toyota. And that is what broke me from saying I gotta stay in the background of everything. And then I start stuttering with confidence. And you know what? That's why I actually started that group from stuttering to confidence because I felt that that we don't have to be ashamed. We don't have to hide. We don't have to feel embarrassed. We can still do things that we would love to do. Just jump out there and try it. So that's where that all came from.
So you worked at Toyota. Had a successful, you know,
5 years, yeah.
career, and were able to retire. You didn't tell us how
Yes.
old you are, but you look fairly young. So you obviously had a good bit of success there to be able to do that. And and well, the name of your group, From Stuttering to Confidence. So you're not. Let me just clarify, because I remember uh, there was a question about this in the group at one point. It's a very active group, so 50 million subjects have been discussed on there over the years. But someone asked about the name of the group, From Stuttering to Confidence, and they asked whether that meant that from stuttering to confidence implies that if you're stuttering that you can't be confident, but that's not at all what you're saying, right?
No, you actually can stutter and be confident. And what I actually found is how we perceive things is how we will actually go forth. So if I perceive stuttering as um, 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 disabling or something that I have to run from or something I have to be ashamed of, I'm going to live my life in that way. And I found out that if you just change the way that you think, then that is where miracles happen. Because I was able to come out of what I call a dark place and come into the light. So I named it from stuttering to confidence because I feel that we can come out of that negative feeling about stuttering and make it be more soothing, and I can walk in full confidence in myself. So I wanted to share that that goodness with others who stutter.
Yeah, your story, really resonates uh, with me and a lot of people. And your passion in your groups, um, and you have a WhatsApp group and the Facebook group, which are both called From Stuttering to Confidence. And I would say um, certainly the WhatsApp group, the Facebook group is as active as any, and the WhatsApp group is more active than any other WhatsApp group of people that stutter that I've ever been in. I don't know, maybe I've been in a dozen of them or so, and yours is very, people are uh, posting audio recordings every day, and um, so what do you think has been your secret to getting people to participate and to really engage with the groups that you started?
Well, now a lot of people are not spiritual at all, and I try not to speak of it. But I am a I am a photographer at my church, and one day, and the pastor was praying hard over just people that had issues that they could not handle. And I remember being on camera, and I put the camera on a wide shot, and I went for prayer. And I said, I'm starting a stutter group. And I said, oh, I want God to think of us, help us, make us see that we are okay. And this guy, he prayed earnestly, so earnestly for the group and the people that stutter, that he brought me to tears. And I ended up walking back to my camera. I felt like I was illuminated. But after that, I felt like God found favor on me and people that stutter. And my group just increased unbelievably. And I still feel, even though I don't talk about spiritual things, because we are there, there to just practice and get to know who we are and get to be proud of ourselves. I still don't say, spiritual things, but I do think that God found favor in myself and the stuttering community, because now I'm beginning to see a lot of people practice using their voices on different platforms, stand up to stammering. They do a lot. And I thought that, that's the key. Just get out there and use your voices. And I always said that if you went to, say, a speech language pathologist, and they teach you a skill, then come to the groups, the platforms, and then practice. So I started table topics so that we could practice, because a lot of people say, well, I don't know what to talk about. So I gave questions that you could talk about, and I tried to gear them towards stuttering, so we could actually gain understanding about the stuttering, what what it is, and share share our views. So I would say it would be spiritual.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, I can see that energy and
Yeah.
passion and focus in what you're doing. So that's good stuff. It's I'm always very interested in how um, things that have grown and sort of taken on a larger life of their own, where they started and what was the inspiration, or where did the, you know,
Right.
all that kind of stuff come from. And
Yeah.
that's a great story. So you were behind the camera,
Yeah.
or
I'm a camera operator, and that is a skill that I can do in my sleep. Operate big TV cameras and things. Right. But yeah, that particular day, I was I was there photographing, and this pastor just asked people who were afflicted with many different things, pray, pray for these things. And it was a move all over the church. And I thought, I'm starting this stutter group because I have come out of that dark space, and now I feel like I'm confident. I can do presentations in front of senior staff, big people, big names, and I can still feel confident when I walk out speaking about the Toyota production system. And when I prayed over the group, we earnestly, it was something, earnestly played. And when I prayed over the stuttering community, when I prayed over it, it was like I prayed over all of our stutter groups, not just mine, but I also prayed that my group would be a platform that we could express ourselves, and we could come out of that dark space. We could be healed from our just mental, the wrong, way of thinking, change our mindset and our the way we perceive stuttering.
and
So it was
Lois,
good, wonderful.
for sure. I'm glad that bolt of inspiration from above came to you and it happened. Uh, so, so in terms of how to change that mindset, so this is a very interesting subject, because I feel like for the vast majority of us, myself included, sitting around thinking, man, I got to change my mindset. Okay, what mindset do I need? Oh, yeah, I need to have that mindset. Okay, I'm going to have that mindset. Like, that doesn't work for me. What changed my mindset, and it sounds like it was similar in your case when you were 40 and you know, they gave you that opportunity to lead people, or you earned that opportunity to lead people at Toyota, and then you were thrust into it. You're like, all right, feel the fear and do it anyway. When you step forward, when you stepped out of the cave, so to speak, into sort of exposing, your vulnerability, so to speak, but you started, speaking over the loudspeakers, and just you you made a decision where you were gonna, you know, speak in front of all sorts of different people and stutter, and you just said, screw it, I'm doing it anyway. And would you say that taking that step, making that decision, then taking the action of doing it, really sort of almost like that pulled your mindset along, where your mind then realized, wait a second, stuttering is okay. I can still do my job. I can still be confident. I can still be myself, even if I'm
Right.
stuttering.
yeah, the manager who tried to get me to you know, get out of that negative mindset. He told me two things. He says that you can't allow stuttering to rule your life, and you have to change the way you perceive yourself. And I thought, whoa, okay, I can't let stuttering rule. And I have to change the way I think about myself. He let me see that behind the scenes, I was helping train um coworkers. He saw me training them so they could understand how that job flowed. He saw me talking to groups of people about the company and the job, and he says, this girl, I need her to lead teams. She's doing it, but behind the scenes, right? So when I looked at that whole picture and it kept ringing in my head, you have to change the way you see yourself and change the way you feel about stuttering. Then I walked out, I stepped out, and when I stepped out of that comfort zone, I felt like um um somebody who was with nothing on, bare, just out there. Oh, it was the scariest thing. But I kept saying, change the mindset of how you think about yourself. They have chosen you to lead this QC, quality control. And for Toyota, that's a number one spot because they're always thinking of how to improve upon. So so when I took the supervisor job, which was great, then they promoted me to a core trainer. That's when I had to do presentations in front of the senior staff. A lot of times GM would come in and bring senior staff, and I had to do presentations. So I just got out there and I just said, I am representing Toyota and I am quality control and boo boo, and I start just getting out there. I start speaking. Yes, there was times when I would stutter, but I would smile and chuckle and keep going. One time I was teaching a class, and I got in front of this class and says, be careful to others. And I told them about a story where I bullied my sister, and I didn't stutter. She did. I bullied her, and then she ended up, she does not stutter, and now I'm stuttering. So I said, be careful. So um so I would do things like talk about stuttering in front of the people, and then I would start, I would start training, or I would do a presentation, and it was just wonderful. So I ended up having a good time putting myself out there, even if I stuttered. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And Lois, the connection was a little bit bad. Can you share again what exactly you said with regards to your sister? We missed the first part of that because the connection was bad.
When I was probably 6 and 7, my sister stuttered, and she was older. And I, she stuttered, but she appeared to be afraid of my father. So she would stutter, just stutter, 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 and I would tease her. I would mock her. I would make her cry. And one day I was in the back of my father's car, me and my sister, and we were about to go travel and do something. And I was teasing her. I was mocking her, and she's, oh, and started crying. And I remember my father was in the front seat right in front of me, he turned around and slapped me so hard that it felt like he had slapped a curse off of her and put it on to me, because um it seems like kind of shortly after she stopped stuttering and I continued.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
I became fearful of my father when he slapped me that hard and said, "Don't you ever mock her or tease her again."
Well, Lois, as you were going through, well, you started stuttering when you were 7,
Yeah.
and then going through those, you know, later childhood years, did you did you have that in your mind, like almost like a guilt, like the curse had been knocked off your sister, or and onto yourself? And was there a guilt and a sort of feeling like it was your fault?
I don't know. Yes, in a sense. I thought I was being punished for treating her in that bad way. And now I am afflicted with whatever she was afflicted with. And then shortly after, my father started doing me the same as he would do her, just nitpick, highly critical, would actually take out an extension card and beat me, or so I started getting a lot of what you call mental abuse, heavily, so heavily that I thought I was not going to make it in this life. Yeah. So I think I stuttered out of a trauma or a fear, because he was constantly. And then I would go to school, and quite naturally, children would mock me, the same as I was doing to my sister, but they would do that to me. And then I start feeling as if I was not as good as, just because of that speech. You know, um, everybody's speaking smoothly, and there I am going,
Right, and I think that runs deep in the childhood experience of, probably 99.9, if not awfully close to 100. Well, it's already close to 100, but percent of people who stutter during at least some period of childhood, oftentimes much of childhood, that feeling different, feeling inferior,
feeling it.
inferior to other people and inferior to who we know we could, or who we think we would be if we didn't have the stutter, right? Man, if I didn't have the
Right,
stutter, I would have said that, and I would have said that, and I would have done that, and I would have, I would be this person, this other person who I'm not,
right,
I'm stuttering. And that's painful on the psyche. I mean, those are important developmental years, of course, for children, and we're going through them. Obviously it varies a little bit from person to person, but generally maybe from age 8, 9, 10, 8 to 12, somewhere where people really become aware of their stutter and that they're different. And then, well, for a lot of people, that persists for most people, I would say the stutter, it persists way into adulthood. And I've met examples of people in their 70s who are still feeling that deep inferiority, and their whole life is, come and almost gone, and they're still holding back in that significant way. And but as you learned, and as I've learned, it really doesn't have to be like that. It
right,
is okay to stutter in the world. It truly is. I'm not arguing that it's ideal that we
right,
choose to do this if we didn't have to, but it is okay, and the world will still respect us. For the most part. I'm not saying there's not going to be an occasional jerk out there, because we don't live in a world with zero jerks, but the vast majority of people will be cool and will be respectful if we are are respectful of ourselves, if we love
Just
ourselves.
said the key. Yeah, that's the key. Because you know what, they tend to do the same thing that we do to ourselves back at us. So if I look like I'm struggling and I look like I hate it and I look like I feel like a freak or something, they treat me in that manner. And I found that when I stutter and I feel like I am proud of who I am and I am happy, they have no issue. But we tend to have we tend to get bogged down with that stuttering thing because communication is the number one thing. And here we are not being able to communicate on a smooth level. But I always say, if we are scared of something, do it. So if we are scared of speaking, that's why I just love these stutter groups. And one day, I ran across a stutter group, and it just freaked me out. I didn't even know such a thing existed. But once you get in these stutter groups and you start practicing, if I start practicing my speaking in front of you, like, you stutter, so you're not going to judge me. And so that platform is just wide open to keep practicing. And the more that you practice, the more it becomes normal to speak, and we become greater. And that's what I enjoy to no end, running a stutter support group. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And yeah, I mean, I feel the same way because, on my coaching program that I do, it's all about facing the fears,
Yes.
going out, and I like to call it facing the stuttering wolf fully, stepping into the arena with him, looking him in the eye, and saying, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to say what I want to say. I'm not running away from communicating because, like you said, communication that's at the center of human existence.
Yes.
For 99.9999, unless you're like the guy living in Alaska all by himself in the woods, which is a very low percentage of people, right? We're a fundamentally social species. And so when you're cut off from that communication, or we're holding back, we're staying in the closet, so to speak, it's a miserable way to live. But getting back to the support group, I totally agree with your perspective, right? Kind of what you're saying is, hey, we all stutter here. It's good for us to just get together with each other, period, because human beings are not meant to exist in a tribe of one. That's not right. And stuttering can be so isolating in our regular life because you feel like you're the only one. I mean, that's how I always felt. And if there was another person that stutters, usually they weren't saying anything. So you maybe didn't even know they stuttered because they were in hiding. And so it's so isolating. Just getting together with folks who stutter alone is powerful. But while you're at it, why not sort of use each other, so to speak, as you're making friendships and having good conversations? Let's practice, if we have a technique that we want to get better at, let's practice it. Let's use it. Or even no technique, just practice communicating. The more you do something, the better you're going to get at it.
I think so. And that's why, what, um, I have a big group, but what I would like to see, what I would like to see is us supporting each other in a warm type of a way. So here is a person, like, if a person comes on and stutters severely, but they come on and make a tape. Oh, it's just, I just want to clap and praise and have everybody just there to encourage them. Come on, keep coming, make another video. And I don't care if that video takes 1 hour for you to say one sentence. We are here. And that's what I wanted the stutter group to be, where we did a lot of of speaking. Yes, I'd like to post to hear your thoughts, but practice that speaking. So even if you stutter, just, oh man, but the biggest thing is the support. I want everybody as to hop in there and support, because we all know how important it is to communicate, and we don't want anyone feeling that they cannot communicate or feeling as if they want to commit suicide or something crazy, because we are in this together and we will prevail, is how I see it.
Totally, totally. Yeah. And, and finding mentors, right? People such as yourself that have gone through all the shame and embarrassment and humiliation and feelings of inferiority and holding back and avoidance and all that stuff, and was able to step, like you said, from the dark into the light. And just, people, when somebody's struggling, especially something like this that's so, I don't want to say totally unique because I haven't had all the other conditions out there, but it's pretty, um, it's a pretty unique sort of experience, right? And only people that stutter are gonna fully get exactly how it feels, what it's like to live with it, of course. And being with others that have made a lot of progress on their journey, whether it's, the below the iceberg side of it, or below the surface of the iceberg side of it, which I think is a more crucial component, or the above the iceberg side, the actual, getting more skill at learning to control the speech apparatus with precision. It's just so valuable to not sort of be grasping for straws alone. Like, what should I do? What might help me to actually meet real humans that have done it, been there, done that.
I mean, that is just so key. Yeah, so then, yeah, that's how come I yeah, started both of the groups. At first we started Facebook with just posting and stuff like that, and then I started the WhatsApp group where we could start using our voices. And then I thought, how can I incorporate this into the Facebook group? And I thought, do some videos, get on, do some videos. And then I also thought that if we do the videos, we can actually see and critique ourselves, and that's how we become greater. So we do the video, we stutter, then we play it back and look and say, how can I improve on this? Or how can I look at that and become comfortable in that? Then, so then I started doing the table topics. And not to now, I am trying a random type challenge where we are not talking about stuttering. So for those who don't want to talk about stuttering, I might talk about just something, and challenge you to get on and just speak and speak about something that is dear to you. And so I just love it.
Yeah, it's a great point with, well, one of your great points there is in terms of taking those videos and that, what you said about that getting comfortable with
Mhm.
seeing it, right? Like, I think it's key. There's a lot of value there, and also not just desensitizing ourselves to, speaking on the microphone, the intercom at the company or all those sort of things, but actually desensitizing ourselves to what we look like and what we sound like when we stutter. Like you said, it's good feedback on the one hand, right? So if we're looking over here, book blocking, well, they're like, well, I'm a big fan of eye contact, but bring it back and look at the person. That's looks far more confident It's sending it's keeping the communication channel open. I'm still with you. I'm still talking. I'm just struggling to get this word out of my mouth, and it keeps people with you. Or just maybe when we're doing something we didn't know, like maybe we're tapping our leg when we're talking. It's good feedback for us to know, am I doing a bunch of extra, I don't want to call it nonsense, but nonsense that has nothing to do with getting this word out, that could be, for instance, distracting from the message I'm trying to communicate, that sort of thing. You get feedback, but also you just overkill that historical hatred of our own voice, and and that feeling that, oh, I'm ugly when I stutter and that sort of thing. I think it's just
I,
desensitizing to all that stuff by taking a lot of videos, I think is very useful.
yes, that is the key. Just take videos, look at yourself. And sometimes I will look at myself and I am stuttering a lot. And then I say, I just say, but that is you, love yourself. Watch it, look at that. And then you become comfortable actually stuttering, and you know what you look like. And I know that when I stutter and I smile, people still, they don't have a tendency to look, look down on it. And now at first I was scared to stutter on a recorded device. Like if I'm doing a video or I'm talking on a tape recorder. So now I say, do it, just so I can face that fear, and so then that's why, I just enjoy our platforms. Yeah, and
Absolutely.
not just mine, but all of them.
I agree. I agree. And the pandemic, obviously it's been a, bad thing for a lot of people. But in terms
I
of the stuttering support community, well, it's a mixed bag with people that stutter. So a lot of people, I don't know if you noticed this, Lois, a lot of people started struggling more with their speech over the pandemic. I think because of the more social isolation, everybody's staying home. We stutterers need to get out of our comfort zone with some regularity, most of us, to keep up
uh-huh.
our confidence, right? Because if we're not around, well, it's that pushing the comfort zone thing that helps keep most of us, you know,
Yeah,
those who
moving forward.
exactly, yeah, and just being forced out of the the shell, like you called it, right? So I
Right.
suspect that's why people have had more challenges with their speech over the pandemic. Maybe some people just were very uncomfortable with Zoom chats like this, at least at first. But that being said, the stuttering support world has absolutely blossomed over the pandemic, right? Because all of humanity has realized, wow, you can do so much remotely, but all these groups have popped up and all these support sessions and WhatsApp groups and regular Zoom calls. I mean, it has exploded. And prior to the pandemic, really Stutter from a, for example, from a support group like live chat, I think Stutter Social maybe was the only one that,
Right. Yeah.
right, where you could regularly get together with people remotely. So the only other thing you had for that was in person, say chapter meetings of the National Stuttering Association or STAMA, British Stuttering Association or something like that. But there were whole states in the US, like Utah and Hawaii, who had no chapters. So now you got all these opportunities, and the Facebook groups have, blossomed even more as well. So have you noticed an explosion of stuttering support over the pandemic?
Yeah. Uh-huh. It seems like the platforms are trying to get people to come out of their shell. Now that we have time to sit home and practice, this is our practice field. Now, now, because even some of the companies are saying we are going to meet through Zoom. So that can be challenging to someone who stutters. So we even practice in our platforms how to speak, how to get on, how to get out of that comfort zone. And even though we are in the pandemic, still practice over Zoom and over the videos and things. So this was our good practice time. So we should be able to walk out of this pandemic strong, unless we kind of went and took that time to hide. That's what I want to do. If I could just get people to come out and start practicing, because once you start practicing, you become greater and greater, and your love, you just start advancing. So just to get people to do like what we are, talk through a interview, or get out there and just enjoy. But one thing is to love ourselves. That's what we got to do. Love ourselves, you know.
For sure, for sure.
Right.
And I think
Uh-huh.
that's a
Gain that
central,
back. Yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah, it's a central part of the journey, I think, is to, you know, see us for who we really are, which is a human being, not a thinking so long as I'm stuttering, I'm a subpar human.
And yeah, and people think that, and they'll be sitting on multiple talents, multiple, but they're only looking at that one flaw. And that's why I always say happy feel good Friday. I want you to talk about and see the good things that you have done through the week. There's got to be something. Quit focusing on the negative. This one day, I want you to tell me something positive. What are you feeling good about? you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm,
It's like a gratefulness exercise, right? Realizing
yeah.
what am I
Uh-huh.
grateful for? You know,
Uh,
because
mhm.
our mind, I mean, as you've alluded to, our mind, we are what we think about
We are.
and we are what we feel. Now, some of that is, subconscious, unconscious, and some of that is conscious, but it's
Right.
all, you know, eh, that sort of defines our existence, right? How we feel and how we think and what we think about ourselves and our place in this world. And that feeling of inferiority is so detrimental when you're a part of a species that is as social as ours is, right? And we can never fully be ourselves, never fully reach our potential as a human being, so long as we believe that we're inferior. Now,
Yeah, because we're
again,
beating ourselves.
yeah, yeah, and I'm not, none of us are denying that, maybe we're not going to win a speed talking contest, and we're not saying we're, we're the most, you know, whatever, the most skilled speaker in human history. But again, what people care about most is what you have to say and
Yeah.
your overall character and what you do and all that. It's not about, how many awards do you know that somebody's won for a fluency contest? I don't. I've never even heard of a fluency contest. Um, and 99% of people are quote fluent. Anything that 99% of people can do, by definition, is not special, right?
Yeah.
It might seem really special, for us historically because we didn't have it, but it's really not. Whether you're fluent or disfluent is not what defines a person in any logical, rational, meaningful way.
Right. And like you were saying, whatever we think, like however we perceive it is how it's going to be. So if I'm going to walk through this life thinking down, I'm going to go in that direction. So what we want to do is change the course, love ourselves, for for forgive ourselves, and let our light shine. Let what we feel inside come out and share amongst people and not be afraid of I stutter. So
Yeah,
what? Yes,
totally.
let the goodness of who you are shine forth. Right.
Exactly. It reminds me of a Native American, um, I don't know if you call it a proverb, but there's a Native American elder man speaking with a young boy, and he was telling the young boy that inside of you, son, lives a
Mm.
good wolf, and an evil wolf, I think was the language that he used. And the boy said, "Oh, well, which one is going to win?" And the elder said, "Whichever one you feed."
Yeah. Ooh,
Right.
key.
And not just good and evil, but confident and lacking confidence, or proud and shameful. And there's all these different forces that are trying to compete inside of us. And what we feed, what we think about, what we you know do, all that kind of stuff is going to have a huge impact on which one sort of rises inside of
Bells.
us.
Yes.
Yeah,
That was a good. That is so absolutely true. That was a good statement. Thanks for that. Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's not mine, just channeling wisdom from other folks. But this has been a great chat, Cookie. I was going to call you Lewis there. Is there anything that we didn't talk about that you'd like to talk about or mention?
We had probably hit a lot of the topics. It is just I say over and over, come out of that comfort zone because you don't have to feel negative in any way because we are a stutter. And if you want to work on it, like if I say I don't like something, fix it. Find a way to fix it. But just being happy and free to just be your authentic self. That's what I want to see, and that's what I want to see the stutter groups improve on supporting each other so that we all can walk in freedom of who we are. But it takes a team of people. It takes our support groups. So we all just support each other, love on each other, let them know they are great just the way they are. But there's always room for improvement, but never doubt who you are, just the way you are. Yeah.
Amen to all of that. And I thank you very much for joining us. I know, you know, this chat, your perspective resonates, and that the people will get a lot out of it. And keep up the good work. Everybody appreciates you, Cookie.
Yes. Thanks so much. And thanks for having me. It,
My
it was
pleasure.
such a pleasure. Yeah.
Likewise. Take care.